When you bring 12 of Victoria's best sim racers to the Melbourne Showgrounds, there's sure to be plenty of fireworks today. Welcome along, everybody, to what is the Moza Racing Victorian Esports Championship live at the Showgrounds. Now, we eliminated 4 drivers yesterday, and today 8 remain. By the end of today, we will crown a winner and a podium that follows closely behind. Welcome, as we said, whether you're joining us on our many different live streams, whether you're on the Motorsport Australia YouTube page or perhaps even the SimSpeed YouTube page as well. We're on Kick. We're live streaming on a plethora of platforms. We're in a plethora of venues, and it's a pleasure to have your company. Let's talk through today's action. The BMW M2 CS racing car will race around Bathurst, and the winner will take home not only the crown, the Victoria's Best Sim Racer crown, but also a Moza Racing R3 pedal set valued at over $500. Jonathan Simon joining you for the coverage today. And I'm also here live at the Showgrounds. We've got a crowd building up, and this is what's on offer. And that's why the crowd's building up, because the championship trophy, as I mentioned, is what they're all fighting for. But how joining us to Moza Racing, providing us with the R3 racing wheel and pedals bundle. You can also grab that at JB Hi-Fi. Here's the format: cross-off the quarterfinals. That was yesterday. Today will be the semi-finals, 2 5-lap races, and there's going to be 4 drivers in each. We will eliminate 2 drivers in the semis, and the top 2 will advance to that winner-takes-all final, which will be 10 laps of action, and that's where we crown our Victorian State Champion. Thanks to Motorsport Australia joining us. There is a Motorsport Australia army here today at the Showgrounds in the Esports World Pavilion. If you're joining us, or the Performance World Pavilion, come on down if you're in Melbourne and check out all the action. We'll be racing here today until 2:30 p.m. and then that's when we'll award our trophy to our winner. And I believe we're ready to go for racing action around Mount Panorama, because the formation lap is just about ready to go. Let's talk about our 4 first drivers in this first heat. Ben Roberts, the quickest yesterday. Oscar King as well, just sneaked through or snuck through, however form of English you like to go with, and made it through today's semi-final. Pip Bakita impressed as well. Rahan Leonage, who was our quickest pre-qualifier, only scraped through an 8th and made it through to today's semi-final. The 15-year-old, our youngest driver in the field. Take note of the action here. The safety car has pulled in. We're going to begin 5 laps of action around Mount Panorama. The green flag waves and Ben Roberts leads the field. He's in the blue BMW M2. In second place is Oscar King. And right behind Oscar King is Pip Bakita, who's all over the rear end of King. A great overtaking opportunity at the Griffin's Bend here at turn 2. And how about Rahan Leonage in the green BMW? Don't say he's going to make it 3 wide to begin this first semi-final of 2, and he opts otherwise, but he takes 3rd position and snatches it from, I believe that's, no, Pip Bakita's in the green. And Leonage is in yellow in fourth, so he now is behind in this train. But this is the perfect start for Ben Roberts, who was quick yesterday. Had a hampered warm-up as well, heading into today's race. And so he'd have the least practice of these four drivers. And the beautiful camera work by Jay Kennedy at SimSpeed, showing off Mount Panorama and the best of the mountain here. This is the top highest point of the circuit, 174 meters of elevation change. And this drone, we're getting our money's worth out of this drone. We're going underground on top of the world and everywhere you want to be as well. And as we try and figure out, there we go. Our pilots picked up the red number 2. That's Oscar King in second place. Good start from Oscar King as well, who was a wild card in the pre-qualifiers, was not one of our quickest 8, and managed to make it through today. Your top 2 advanced, but let's take a look at this. Rahan Leonage up the inside of Pit Bakita at the chase. And is there a bit of contact? There almost is, but Pit Bakita keeps it on the road and is off at the chase. And Leonage goes straight through. Now, there is a rule book in case anybody's joining us today, and it is sanctioned by Motorsport Australia. These drivers have to follow the rule book. If there's been any incidents, the redress is in effect. So we'll wait and see if the stewards deem that there was too much contact on that one. But while those two squabble, it's allowed Ben Roberts here in Sim 1 on our left and Oscar King in Sim 2 to build a healthy advantage at the end of the first lap. Oscar King, not his personal sponsor on his lid, as confirmed when I asked him yesterday. But you may be wondering why they opted for the hat. We actually had a sun issue here yesterday where the sun was creeping in and affecting a couple of the drivers in the first 2 sims. So that's why Ben Roberts in Sim 1 and Oscar King in Sim 2 have gone for the hat, because it was it Rob Carmichael yesterday with the sun? It was you, Rob, and that was, you brought the sunnies today, which is good to see. So a 5-lap race, the top 2 advance to today's grand final, where they'll race for that elusive Moza Racing R3 pedal set. And not to forget the Victorian Esports Championship Trophy. They'll be crowned Victorian State Champion if they finish P1, not in this race, but later on in the grand final. Oscar King, hands full as he comes down the mountain. Only 5/10 the gap to Ben Roberts. Oscar King's in a rhythm here. And he's had a sweet exit through the chase, and I believe he'll have a very good slipstream across the Conrod Straight. And he doesn't need to make a move, because remember, it's top 2 that counts. It's these 2 in Sims 3 and 4. Pit Bakita over here, and then Rahan Leonage, the 15-year-old, born in 2010, to make any of you feel a little bit less about yourselves, and myself too, unfortunately. But they're gunning for that Victorian Esports crown. Pit Bakita, who's recently come off an appearance in Spain, representing Australia at the FIA Motorsport Games. Rahan Leonage, an up-and-comer in the sim racing scene. He's in the yellow BMW M2. Has Bakita behind. That's 2 spots to make up, and then 2 full seconds to make up on Oscar King, who's just gone quickest at the end of lap 2. Purple for Oscar King, 3/10 the gap to the lead as well between himself and Benjamin Roberts. Or 2 squabbles. Roberts and King, Group 1, the peloton behind. Can you call it a peloton with 2 cars? We'll get away with it for today's event. Pit Bakita now. I just caught a glimpse of potentially a move right behind. Oh no, they're still formed up. No move for Bakita there in P4. But Roberts here at the top of the mountain, past the great. And Oscar King has found a rhythm. The gap 4 tenths, 5 tenths. Oscar King's lost a little bit of time at the top of the mountain. If you're watching sim racing for the first time, thanks for gathering with us. This is iRacing. This is Mount Panorama. You may notice the circuit. Like I said yesterday, it is fair to say the holy grail of Australian motorsport. You talk Australian motorsport, you talk Bathurst. Wowee, that was close for Oscar King. Heading into the elbow. Damage is on. Any incident will end their hopes and end their chances at that Victorian State Champion crown. Whose father's joining him this weekend, leads the field away. Grant Leonage, his father's also joined him. We kind of joked yesterday, a bit Anthony Hamilton, Lewis Hamilton situation there between the two. A very proud father and watching his son in his first ever in-person sim racing event. But so far at the moment, with 2 laps to go, Ben Roberts sets the quickest time of anybody. That gap now is 7 tenths to King. And Leonage has run wide through Hull Corner, and that's going to open the advantage to Pip Makita. In the face of disappointment, as he realises that mistake may as well just cost him his hopes of advancing to today's grand final. Makita in P3, having a rest, resting the wrist through Griffin's Bend. There's not much to do in the BMW M2 around Bathurst in such a long full throttle section. But can Pip Makita in 2 laps now make up a gap of 3 seconds? That's the green car you want to keep your eyes on. If anything goes wrong for your blue or red cars up the top, that'll hand the green or yellow a free ticket to the grand final. Pip Makita, who there's a few drivers out there who race like fine wine, and Pip Makita's one of them. Far being pipped by Roberts and King for the spot in the granny and through. That's a beautiful shot. You don't often see that shot of the S's and the Dipper through Mount Panorama. They changed that section back, I believe, in 2000 and I was going to say, it used to be gravel down there. I think it was 2018 from memory. Now it's tarmac. Feels a lot safer. Probably the right way to go. The track itself, laser scanned in 2012. We'll give you all those details after this first semi-final heat. Because there will be a second semi-final for anybody joining us. This is one of 2 semis. The top 2 advance to this afternoon's grand final, and it so far looks like it'll be Ben Roberts and Oscar King. Oscar King, all he needs to do is right in front of me on Sim 2, is keep it on the road, finish P2. But does he want to opt for grid position? Because your results from this semi-final will hand you a better grid spot, potentially, for the grand final. Final lap begins. What a shot off Griffin's Bend. Not Griffin's Bend, the mountain straight, heading to Griffin's Bend. Just got a crash once there back in the year across the top of that little crest. Through Griffin's Bend, where we've seen a lot of drama over the years. Nick Percap once hit the wall there and went on to win the race, so it doesn't always end your hopes and chances. Oscar King through the cutting. No kangaroos to deal with here in the virtual world, although that would make things pretty interesting. They just affected the drivers for no reason whatsoever. That'd spice the action here in the final lap. So does Oscar King go for it? You'd have to say through the chase it's worth a look, but can he get close enough? This is the section of the racetrack that Oscar King seems to lose the most time to Ben Roberts. It's the top of the mountain. But then he reels him back in with a draft, and I think that slipstream remains critical. Right behind him, Makita remains in third from Ronan Leonage. Now keep one eye on because if anything goes wrong in this last half a lap for Ben Roberts or Oscar King, it will open the door for a promotion spot in the top 2 as Oscar King slices and hits the wall at the elbow. Couple more corners to go. The chase coming up. These cars virtually hit 270 kilometers an hour before this short braking zone at the chase. And Ben Roberts has not made a meal of it, and he's got one more braking zone to go. The lowest point of the circuit at Murray's, but not any easy. The braking zone in the back. Leonage is out. His chances are done. He's had a spin. It's only Bakita who's left, but it doesn't matter. Ben Roberts will advance to the grand final. Oscar King will join him. Round of applause for these two who make their way over to tonight's or this afternoon's grand final here at MotorEx. And because we can in the virtual world, let's go straight to the cockpit for Ben Roberts. Ben, well done. And it came off a bit of a hampered practice heading into the race.
Yeah, had some issues with the pedals here, weren't calibrating right. So, yeah, I got half a lap of practice in and sort of that was with the sort of screwy brake pedals. So, yeah, I'm just glad to make it through that one and looking forward to the final.
If I'm not mistaken, that's pole position for the final. You must be grateful that Oscar didn't make a move on you to steal grid position. You seem as confident as anyone here. You seem as quietly confident and poised as anybody racing out here. How do you rate your chances heading into the granny?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. A little bit concerned about sort of the length of the race and keeping a hold of the rear tyres, but other than that, sort of as long as I get some actual practice in next time, yeah, I should be fine.
Ben Roberts, good luck later on. We'll chat to you in a little bit. Let's quickly grab Oscar King, if you don't mind. Oscar, you've advanced to the grand final as well. Well done. You're a man, you shouldn't be here this weekend. Somehow you're now in the grand final playing off for the Victorian State Champion Trophy. How does that feel?
Oh, brilliant. It's taken a long time to get here, but yeah, I drove pretty well there, much better than yesterday. So yeah, gave myself the best chance and yeah, see you in the grand final.
The race out there, the draft help you? Because it seemed like you were losing a bit of time across the top of the mountains. Is there some work to do there heading into the grand final?
It's proper quick at the moment and launched a challenge, but it's just too high risk of a move given that the top two already make the grand final, so I just decided to bring it home.
Can I just make you feel better about yourself quickly? You've just pipped. You've also beaten Rahan Leonage, the quickest pre-qualifier. Wow. I mean, this has got to go down as one of your best performances so far.
Yeah, I think so. They're both exceptional drivers. I know of both of them coming into this. I didn't expect. We were just really had a good start and we were able to keep them behind.
Oscar King, well done. He will advance to the final later on. If you're joining us, thank you for watching the first of two semi-finals. We'll take a quick break. Semi-final 2 is coming up. Rob Carmichael has already taken the shoes off. He's opted for socks, and he's also opting for a ticket in the grand final. That's where we find out who are our next two that will advance to this afternoon's big race.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Victorian Esports Championship. That's one way to enter, is to deafen people here. Thanks for joining us at the Esports World Tent. You are watching the next four drivers in the final semi-final of today's event. There they are. Rob Carmichael One of the quickest of these four, Callum Newton, a free agent in the sim racing world. He's trying to find a team for himself, and he's impressed so far because he's made it through to today's semi-final. This is the Moza Racing Victorian Esports Championship at MotorEx and at the Melbourne Showgrounds. Thanks for joining us, whether you're in person or whether you're joining us on the plethora of live streams available on the Motorsport Australia YouTube page or even SimSpeed. And we're also on Kick. So join the team at Kick on SimSpeed and you can watch him with action. Daniel Harris racing today, makes his return to live event sim racing. And Matt Bowler in the yellow Sim 4 has been impressive. As impressive as the dashing mustache he brings to this semi-final. Second of two, as we mentioned. It'll be a 5-lap race coming up. 2 of these drivers will go home disappointed and the other 2 will promote to the grand final this afternoon. Here is the circuit. It's Mount Panorama, Bathurst. You may have heard it. One of Australia's best racing circuits, a street circuit on the streets of Bathurst. About an hour's drive west, maybe a little bit more from Sydney. 8 braking zones around this beautiful venue, 174 metres of elevation change as well, 6.2 kilometres in length. During the year, it is a street circuit. It's only allowed to host a maximum of 5 events per year because people live around the track as well. And you'd say your best overtaking spots, like we saw in the last race in the first semi-final, Griffin's been a good spot. The chase as well at turns 20, 21 and 22 also a good overtaking opportunity. The mountain, that's where much lap time can be gained over at Solomon Park and Reed Park and the rest of all that kind of business as we deal with somebody starting their engine around here and it's popping up on our mics. Just bear with us. Here we go, the semi-final. Top 2 will advance and then it will be a 10-lap final later on this afternoon where that winner will take all, not only the Victorian State Champion crown, but a Moza Racing R3 bundle, which is also available as well to our winner if they cross the line in first. Second and third will also take home a trophy. And 4th place, unfortunately, will be commiserations. But first off, let's not get ahead of ourselves because in today's semi-final, we're going to find out who advances. Will it be Rob Carmichael in Sim 1? Will it be Callum Newton, who takes home the beautiful Moza Racing R3 bundle, wheel and pedal set as well? I had a go myself with the Moza Racing equipment, and it is as good as it gets out there. Good fun. I had to get kicked off the sim by Ben Christie because I spent so much time on there, and I loved it. And you yourself in the public here, if you're joining us after these drivers race in today's grand final, it is available to the public. Line up and you can have a go yourself and test out the beautiful Moza Racing equipment. Daniel Harris as well joining us in the semi-final, getting his last practice laps in. And I'm taking a look at Matt Bowler, who is, well, I don't want to disrupt him. This is the part where you need to be careful. You don't want to disrupt your 4 competitors as they remain focused and only around about a couple minutes away, maybe less, towards our semi-final race. It'll be a rolling start. And how much session time is left? A minute to go. Rob Carmichael, can we get a word from you? You stepped out of the cockpit. Your thoughts and your feelings heading into today's semi?
Should be a bit of fun. We're all good mates away from the sim, but once we all step in, it's a bit of white line fever. But should be a bit of fun. Didn't expect to get this far anyway, so yeah, put the head down and see where we can end up. Hopefully the top 2.
You brought the hat today because yesterday there was not a wardrobe malfunction, but a sun malfunction.
Yeah, I hope that's been fixed for today. Got the sunnies down beside me, but no, it seems to be all pretty good, so should be a bit of fun.
Rob Carmichael, good luck. He's in sim number 1. Yesterday, the sun creeped in and it affected his view heading into the sim. Real world issues, virtually. We're on iRacing. We're in the BMW M2. And we're at a breathtaking racetrack. Arguably the most fun racetrack to race around here. Some people would say the Nordschleife. Do you know the Nordschleife? Would you say Bathurst is the Nordschleife of the Southern Hemisphere? I would. This man agrees with me. I thought you were about to give me the weirdest look in human history, but thank you, because sometimes I do make that comparison to some weird faces. And as the warm-up session comes to a close, the checkered flag is raised. Daniel Harris with the red Sparko racing gloves and they will all pop up randomly on the grid, and we will begin our race here today. I believe, so let's figure out who is in who here. That looks like the green is Daniel Harris. He's in the green BMW. In the yellow is Matt Bowler. Behind, so in the red BMW, that is Callum Newton, and then Rob Carmichael in the blue. Side by side for the beginning of a 5-lap semi-final. Welcome along as well if you're joining us. Gather around and watch. Sure to be fireworks, because like Rob Carmichael said, these guys are all mates, but as soon as you jump into the cockpit, there should be some white line fever. Safety car will pull in. And just like that, that was an aggressive pull-in by our AI safety car driver, but it doesn't matter, because through Murray's, we're going to wave the green flag and the racing is going to begin for semi-final number 2. Rob Carmichael squeezed up the inside, but trying to make a move here as well on Daniel Harris. But leading the field away is Matt Bowler. Matt Bowler in your yellow BMW in Sim 4 is rocketing away here with a comfortable advantage. Daniel Harris is down to 3rd. Closing out the back is Callum Newton, but that is a crucial move by Rob Carmichael, and now he could potentially, that's a great exit coming out of Griffin's Bend. Does he opt for a move heading into the cutting? And thinks wiser the better. He's turned around. Rob Carmichael's turned around and he's been dropped to the back of the order. Contact with Daniel Harris. Daniel continues on. That promotes Callum Newton to 3rd. So there is a rule book. There is a chance Daniel Harris may need to redress that position. We'll wait and see what the orders are from Motorsport Australia, the entire crew here joining us, and they've done a tremendous job this weekend setting up these simulators and giving our sim racers a platform to race for the opportunity of becoming Victorian state champion for the esports world. So Rob Carmichael is well down the order after the collision. Callum Newton in red. Matt Bowler, just correcting the graphic there, Matt Bowler is in yellow and Daniel Harris is in green. So correction there, it is Daniel Harris in 2nd, not 1st. The gap between your top 2, 3/10. It's a 5-lap race here around Mount Panorama, around about 2 minutes 20 per lap. So about 8 minutes of racing action remaining. And the fact that you can see your top 4 in shot means this race is far from over. Matt Bowler in P1 joined sim racing during COVID, as many of you would have back in the time. That's when it was the best opportunity to jump on the simulator, when you couldn't do much in lockdown. And he's gone a long way since, as Matt Bowler competes in the Logitech G Pro Invitational as well, big series in the Australian sim racing scene, also sanctioned by Motorsport Australia. But Daniel Harris hunting him behind 4 years of sim racing experience to his name. This is how committed Daniel Harris is in Sim 3 over here. Used to race on a satellite connection. Couldn't even get a regular internet connection at home. Joined by a satellite and managed to work his way up the sim racing scene. And so far it's Bowler and Harris competing. Well, I wouldn't say competing because they're in the top 2 and that's all that matters. That's who's booking a ticket to today's grand final. Callum Newton's got work to do in 3rd. Daniel Harris wants grid position too. That's important. That's the incentive for him in the green BMW M2 to make a move here on Matt Bowler. And if these two squabble, it's only going to help Callum Newton in Sim 2 in the red BMW to close the advantage to your top two. Beautiful exit from Daniel Harris. He racing boots on. So does Callum Newton. Our other two competitors, Rob Carmichael and Matt Bowler, have gone for socks. Bare feet, I would say, is banned by me because I think it's disgusting. And that's the only reason why it's banned. You can only do that at home, Lucas. That's the only reason. Matt Bowler in P1. No move from Daniel Harris there heading into the chase. Callum Newton's now within a second here of your top three. So I don't want to speculate because this is the end of lap 2, but if this trio begin to fight, Rob Carmichael's got a second stab at a top 2 spot. A Moza Racing R3 bundle on offer to your winner, not of this race, but in this afternoon's grand final. Fastest lap for Callum Newton in third. Daniel Harris, brave enough to make a move into the cutting. Fair to say a move into Griffin's Bend is on the cards here. Matt Bowler hugs the inside, says if you're going to go around, you're going to have to go to the outside, and that's what Daniel Harris does. Will he go for it into the cutting again? No. Thinks wise of it. Look at Callum Newton, 6/10 the gap. I think Rob Carmichael has damage because he's now 5 seconds off the pace and he's dropping 5.2. He's dropping fast. And I don't think Rob Carmichael, well, unless anything happens to your top three at this stage, I think his chances may be done. But let's not call it early. There's plenty of racing left to go. 2.5 laps remaining. One of the toughest points of any circuit in Australian motorsport. The dipper, great cap shot by our sim speed crew. Jay Kennedy on production today, one of the best in the sim racing business. And wow, what a slide from Bowler. He's just kept it together. Matt Bowler is in sim 4. And a bit of a chuckle there from Daniel Harris as he looks over because he wonders how in the world did Matt Bowler manage to save. Callum Newton's got an opportunity here heading into the chase. Callum Newton, 17 years of age and fighting for the Victorian State Champion Trophy. Great defensive driving from Daniel Harris and keeps it together for an attacking move on Matt Bowler. I think he's a bit too far behind heading into Murray's. 22-metre drop in the braking zone at Murray's corner. And that's why so many drivers get it wrong. The curb not friendly at all. With 2 laps remaining. How will this semi-final 2 of 2 be decided at Mount Panorama? Oh, looks like deja vu, doesn't it? Back again at Griffin's Bend. Daniel Harris goes for a bump draft. And I'm not sure the reasons why he's gone for the bump draft, but tried to get as much slipstream as possible. That's just allowed Callum Newton a shot to claw in. There's something wrong here. Issues for Daniel Harris. He's pulled out. Is there damage to that BMW M2? Daniel Harris is out. And that means Callum Newton now into the top 2 for the first time today. So we'll chat to Daniel Harris and oh, so it's a redress order, that's what it is. Daniel Harris has had to redress to Rob Carmichael, and there it is at the top of your picture. So that's for the incident on the opening lap. We were expecting that, and now Harris into the wall. It's all crumbling for Daniel Harris. His chances and hopes crumbling as quick as a granola bar. And it looks like Rob Carmichael and Daniel Harris so far with a lap and a half to go, their chances of advancing to the grand final may be done. And there's your top 2. Now, Callum Newton, I don't know if it's worth saying this. Is it worth going for grid position in the grand final and making a move. Matt Bowler swerving across the Conrod straight, going defensive because this race is far from over. Matt Bowler, who has family attending here today and watching on. And look at the gravel out of the chase as well. That's a beautiful part of iRacing. They simulate all that kind of stuff. This racetrack, when they built it on the surface, they took about photos, if not a few thousand. They even simulate where the leaves fall out there on the racetrack as well. The attention to detail of iRacing, who laser scanned Bathurst to Mount Panorama in 2012. And it's still one of the best on the sim racing service. Final lap, and Bowler and Newton look like Bowler, who's at the bottom right-hand side of your grid. Callum Newton, who I'm standing right behind, in second place. And into Griffin's Bend, Callum Newton, I believe, will likely form up here, but for our sake as a crowd, and the crowd building up here at the Melbourne Showgrounds at MotorEx, we do hope he goes for a move. And the braver the better is all I'll say. Rob Carmichael in third. Daniel Harris, who was forced to redress the collision on the opening lap, sits in fourth. What a beautiful shot as we enter the top of Mount Panorama. Good camping site if you've ever been to the Bathurst 1000 or even the 12-hour. That's another good event to camp for. Rob James, you to either events? The 1000, that's good to know. Rob James from Motorsport Australia, who joins us, as well as the many different members of the Motorsport Australia crew. Thanks for joining us as well in terms of if you're in the crowd here at MotorEx. Every time I look behind me, the crowd builds up more and more. And it's a pleasure to have your company. Whether you're watching us in the live streams as well, thank you. As Callum Newton touches the wall, I don't think that'll change much to win this race, but it probably means his stab at first position will, this will be a write-off, I think, for a chance to go through. That's probably poor wording because the car looks okay. And his chances of P1 probably not the best here, as Matt Bowler will bring it on home. So with a couple corners to go, Matt Bowler in Sim 4 on your right and Callum Newton right in front of me, the 17-year-old. Those two will advance to today's grand final for the Moza Racing Victorian Esports Championship. Round of applause for Matt Bowler, who takes home victory in the semi-final, and Callum Newton behind, who also books his ticket to today's big race. Matt Bowler, first off, congratulations, and the pressure of taking home that win. What's the heart rate like now as you step out of the cockpit?
It's pretty good. Obviously, some great drivers in our bunch of four, and a shame what happened with Rob and Daniel. But yeah, really great to get through. I didn't have great pace, if I'm being honest. I was a bit quicker yesterday, so I was definitely slower than the guys that were behind me. So the main thing was just trying to break the toe and managed to get first. So I think potentially starting front row for the final race. So yeah, see what happens.
We'll figure all that out. We'll make sense of the grid in a moment's time. Can I make sense of what happened at the elbow to you? Did you get a tap from Daniel Harris there? Because he had a laugh and looked over, or was that one of your own moments on your own?
No, this car's pretty unpredictable with how it drives, and I just think I carried a little bit too much throttle, or it was brake, one or the other, and all I know is my wheel was the complete opposite direction, and I was holding on for dear life, so thankfully got away with it. Yeah, it could have been so much worse.
Congratulations, you and that dashing mustache, Matt Bowler, will head through to today's grand final. And we will quickly find Callum Newton, who, I don't mean to interrupt Callum, you're chatting to the family, but well done on advancing through to today's grand final. Did you expect this coming into this weekend?
Not at all. I thought the guys out here, they're very quick. I pre-qualied P8, so to even make it to day 2, I was very happy with, and now to make it to the final and maybe get a shot at a trophy or the R3 bundle, I'm very happy.
What did you make of the incident? You saw Daniel Harris pull off a move up the inside of Rob Carmichael. Didn't end up well for both of them, but it allowed you a spot into the top 2, I guess, once the redress took effect. Would you have gone for the same move had that happened?
100%. That move, I've done contact. I knew maybe Daniel would get a penalty, so I just wanted to stay within at least 5 seconds of him. So if it was a 5-second penalty or a redress, I would be benefiting off that.
Finally, you're a free agent. Like I said yesterday, I just like to classify it as free agent. There's many terms for it. Vagrant could be another one. You're going home to home. That's a little bit more insulting. But in a more serious note, you're looking for a sim racing team out there. Today, you showcase some of your best skills. What's another reason why people should pick you up with a sim racing scene?
You know, I practice a lot. I drive clean most of the time, and consistency is something that I'm really fond of. So if it's like 12-hour endurance race, I'm always there hitting at least the same time.
There you go. Good luck in today's grand final. Callum Newton makes it home. Thanks for joining us here at the Melbourne Showgrounds as well. That grand final not far away, where we will crown, finally, after a big weekend of action, your Victorian State champion here at MotorEx. Don't leave us.
sim racing. Drive on laser scan replicas of great circuits from around the world. Your competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for your Moza Racing Victorian Esports Championship Grand Final. Thanks for bearing with us as the Grand Final sits minutes away around the beautiful Mount Panorama circuit on iRacing in the BMW M2. We're about to crown the Victorian State Champion over this next 10-lap race. Here is the circuit we'll be racing on, located virtually today, a couple hours drive west of the city of Sydney. Bathurst, Mount Panorama, what a beautiful track it is. 6.2 kilometres in length and located within the Bathurst community as well. There's houses strewn across the racetrack in New South Wales here. There's a museum across near Murray's if you've ever been down to Bathurst as well. 8 braking zones in the BMW M2. A couple good overtaking spots we mentioned at Griffin's Bend and the Chase. We saw an incident in the semi-final at the Cutting. That was at turns 3 and 4 that you can see at the top of your pictures there, and a couple of incidents through Reed Park and Silman Park as drivers tagged the wall. Don't forget the elbow. Forest elbow at turn 18 is also a hot spot and could invite a lot of collisions when it comes down to tapping the wall on the outside. We hope you can hear us throughout all the commotion here at the Melbourne Showgrounds and at MotorEx. It is a beautiful event, day 2 of 2. There's some engines revving. It's deafening a couple of us here as well. I don't know where that's coming from. It's picking it up somewhere across our microphone. Here's what our 4 drivers are battling it out for. A Moza Racing R3 wheel and pedals bundle valued at $549. Available at JB Hi-Fi as well. They're also fighting for the championship trophy too, and that is the Victorian State Champion Trophy. Second and third place will also receive a trophy. We'll have our podium presentation after the conclusion of our 10 laps of action later today. Today's format is a good one. We just came through yesterday's quarterfinal. We sent 4 of our 12 drivers home. Another 4 were sent home in the semi-final. And here are the 4 that remain. Benjamin Roberts, I have to say, is your favorite. He'll be in the blue BMW M2. Oscar King has somehow found his way from a wild card position to today's grand final. I was hoping somebody would from our 4 wild cards who were invited, and Oscar King has done exactly that. Callum Newton, 17 years of age, the youngest of the 4 here, racing in today's grand final. And then Matt Bowler, who has been as poised and as consistent, you could say, as anybody or any of these 4 out there, although he admitted in his post-race interview did lack a little bit of pace in the semi-final. So let's see if he can make up for that in today's grand final. We are seconds away from taking to the grid. It'll be a rolling start around Mount Panorama. The safety car, it's a virtual safety car, and AI is driving it, of course, as you saw with its very abrupt turn into the pit lane in the semi-final. Here we go, we've got the grid as well. Matt Bowler will start from second. He's in the number 1 BMW M2 yellow car. Ben Roberts will lead the field from pole. That's your rolling start right behind Oscar King as well. And Callum Newton will be in your green BMW. So look out for Callum Newton, who somehow in that semi-final threw a penalty to Daniel Harris in the closing moments, had to redress after a collision with Rob Carmichael on the opening lap. And that awarded Callum Newton his ticket to today's grand final at Mount Panorama. So they're going to drive around a couple of corners. The green flag will wave for 10 laps of action, around about 2 minutes 20 of lap time we're expecting here in the granny. Beautiful, partly cloudy skies with a little bit of sunshine. That makes a difference virtually. I'm not just saying that to take the mickey. It does affect the conditions these drivers have to deal with. And there it is, the pace car pulls in. Benjamin Roberts in Sim 1 will lead the field away. And he floors it, right foot planted right to the ground, and he begins today's grand final for your Moza Racing Victorian Esports Championship. Oscar King sits third. It's Matt Bowler who remains comfortable in P2 but has a torrid exit through Hell Corner. Callum Newton in fourth, waiting to see what happens with the 2 ahead of him as they rocket to Griffin's Bend for the first time. Side-by-side action between the 2. Oscar King is on the outside here in the red. And how about Matt Bowler? Did the 2 touch? Oscar King's off the road, and he's now slid all the way down to last place. Drama already on the opening lap, as we saw last time round through the cutting. Roberts leads, a half-second advantage he's built up. That's important for Matt Bowler to remain within half a second. The slipstream will help over the course of this grand final. The slipstream accurately simulated in iRacing as it would in the real world. Oh, what a massive collision. That's Callum Newton in the wall. And off the road is Matt Bowler. I did chat to Oscar King pre-race, and he expected some fireworks here in the grand final. He said it was closer than he expected, and already on lap 1, we've almost had 3 different drivers trash their hopes at that Victorian State Champion trophy. So far, it's Ben Roberts who holds a comfortable 8/10 advantage. This is where your lap can all go wrong through the elbow, and thankfully all 4 drivers make it through for the first time. And they'll have 9 more trips through the elbow to deal with. Looks like an innocuous corner, but we've seen quite incidents there. Years. Chaz Mostert had a massive crash in 2015 in qualifying. If you remember in 2021, Tim Slade as well. They had to rebuild that car. It was a collision as well at the chase, kind of ended his weekend at Mount Panorama. Saw Cam Waters here yesterday join us for the celebrity race. James Moffat is around as well. A couple of supercars names, even former supercars names at MotorEx, the Melbourne Showgrounds. Lap 1 ends, Ben Roberts. 9/10 advantage to Matt Bowler. Callum Newton third, Oscar King in fourth. Oscar's got a bit of work to do here. It's not over yet. 9/10 to Callum Newton. I think he's just within the draft. Oscar King, who sits in P2 in the blue hat. Funnily enough, again, you might be wondering why they're wearing a hat. The sun did appear at Sim 1 and did affect Rob Carmichael yesterday, so they will have that to deal with if this race goes on for a little bit longer. And the serious face of Callum Newton as he deals with a tricky braking zone at the cutting. There are all four of your faces. Friends off the racetrack. Frenemies on the racetrack, would you say? Is that a polite way to put it? I'd say enemies right now, because there is a Moza Racing R3 bundle, which you can see right ahead of you here. That's what they're fighting for. And those three trophies, they win their way to today's grand final. And look at them, drifting in MotorEx flavor. Look like Dumanats through the top of the mountain. And Bowler is catching Roberts. So is Newton. 1.2 seconds separates your top two. And they are on the absolute limit of this BMW M2. I'm trying to take a peek at a couple of lap times. Everyone's got that disabled at the moment. They're all kind of just looking at the reference points of cars ahead. And the reference point is Ben Roberts in that blue BMW M2. Ben Roberts, sim racing for 5 years, joined within the pandemic, and he's gone a long way. We talked about it in the semi-final. Still using the same equipment that he purchased himself in COVID in 2020. And so a win for Ben Roberts today would mean a lot to grab his hands on a Moza R3 racing wheel and pedal set. Callum Newton in third. This is a good chance and a move in a hell corner thinks otherwise, because Griffin's Bend, the next corner coming up, it's about a 1 kilometre straight. His right foot will be planted to the floor and move could be made here for P2. Callum Newton on the rear end of Matt Bowler. The 17-year-old from Werribee, representing the West. Boy, it's so close as we ride on board with Newton. He's gaining here, but what can you do at the top of the mountain? Well, it's not the top yet, but as they travel to the top. Under the tree. And this is where Bowler is, I think, sublime. Although he scraped the wall, some sparks from the yellow BMW of Matt Bowler. He ran off the road here at the time round. And it's kind of like just easing a box derby race as you make the trip from the top of the mountain all the way down to the elbow. This is a corner where it's kind of as difficult as it gets. The elbow doesn't look like it. It looks not, just as I mentioned. There's a lot of lap time to be gained and a lot to be lost as you travel towards the Conrod Straight. A couple of properties on your left if you're watching iRacing for the first time. Those are real houses. People live there and they put them in the sim. Not to say that that's a privacy issue, but it's a good, accurate simulation is the way I'll summarise that. 260 kilometres an hour in the draft, almost by Callum Newton, just fell short of that mark. And so far, no incidents. Like I said, I did speak to Oscar King earlier, and he did predict the field would be as close as ever. And I would say the Motorsport Australia stewards who are here at this event are thankful for that. There was a redress. There's only been one incident so far in our 3 events today. And Daniel Harris, he wasn't happy. Wasn't happy with that. As you would be after losing your chance at making a grand final. Another chance here for Callum Newton. Ben Roberts, 4 tenths now to Matt Bowler, now down to 3 tenths. Callum Newton the same to Matt Bowler. Your top three, you can't separate them. But when? When is the right time to make a move here? You'd have to say Ben Roberts is in comfortable position in first place. But Bowler is gaining confidence lap after lap and corner after corner. And this is one of the sections of the racetrack he's very good at. What a beautiful sight, and the virtual fans enjoying themselves too. So are the real fans here at MotorEx at the showgrounds. We've had a crowd building, big crowd for our semi-finals as well. And over the next 5 laps, do not leave us. Because we've still got an argument to settle here, and it may be settled quickly because Ben Roberts in first place has tagged the wall. Ben Roberts on your left, who's been leading every lap so far in this grand final, is now under pressure from Matt Bowler, who sits in Sim 4. Sitting behind them two is Callum Newton, the young man. So far, steady so far, and that's just allowed Oscar King back into the picture. 1.9 seconds, Oscar King's gained over a second on this top three. And we could see a move here in the Murrays. Roberts goes defensive. Great racing between these three. And everybody's kind of waiting for somebody else to make the move first. It might have to be Matt Bowler in second, otherwise Callum Newton may get impatient here and may tell these two to get a move on. It might be time for a hurry up. Just over halfway distance. Again through Griffin's Bend. So close between your top three. Less than 4 tenths separate 3 different BMWs. And Oscar King, 1.8 seconds off the pace, is slowly but surely coming into the picture. Will we have a 4-horse fight for your Victorian State Champion trophy? Matt Bowler from Bundoora hunting down Ben Roberts, who's made a mistake, and he's made a move. Great move at McPhillamy, and he snatches the lead for the first time. First lead change here this afternoon in our grand final. Roberts, who's got his hands full through the dipper. So far, so good for Matt Bowler. Oscar King now 1.7 behind these three. But Callum Newton can't capitalise. Remains in third. Oscar King takes a peek to his left. And I mean in the real world. Checks to see if the sweat is coming off the forehead of Ben Roberts, who's been under pressure all day. And a great defensive drive from Matt Bowler. Parks it on the inside and contact between the two. Roberts is turned around. That's going to affect Callum Newton. And here comes, I don't want to say Stephen Bradbury, but Oscar King in Sim 2 is into second place. 1 position short of a Bradbury. 1.2 the gap now to Bowler. Oscar King, a wild card. Did not pre-qualify for this event, was too slow. He was invited to compete. And at the moment is 1 position away from becoming Victorian State Champion. Or will Matt Bowler run away here with the first place trophy? 5 to go. So it almost looked innocuous there for Ben Roberts. I don't even know if he had collision with Matt Bowler, certainly in the braking zone, but on the exit, it looked like he might have just lost traction. Very difficult to see with the camera angles we had. But that incident has cost both himself and Callum Newton. But I don't want to say their chances are over, because Oscar King, once upon a time, was 3 seconds off the pace and is now within a second of hunting down Matt Bowler in first place. Oscar King in Sim 2 has aspirations of becoming a Formula One race engineer. Wants to start off in the F1 Esports world as well and join the international teams. And as Ben Roberts, that was as good as it gets. A nice drift through the elbow with Callum Newton hunting him close behind. Callum Newton's been staring at a whole lot of rear end of a BMW this whole race. He's barely had clean air the entire event. And once again has to deal with the rear end there of Ben Roberts in third place. Back to Oscar King, we saw with Andrew Gilliam in the Supercars E-Series. He started out racing simulators. He now works for a Supercars. Apologies for the audio issues. I'm not sure if you caught that. He now works for a Supercars team. Had a main game opportunity in the real world at Andrew Gilliam, and he got that opportunity, and it begun virtually. Built the contacts this way around. This won't be the last you hear of Oscar King. And with 6/10 the gap, oh no, he's made an absolute shambles of Hull Corner. I saw the gap go down to 6/10, and then I took another peek at where he was, and he was completely in the grass on exit. Hasn't lost as much time as I thought. 7/10 the gap now to Matt Bowler. Matt Bowler, who's coming off a P22 finish in the Pro Invitational during the week. Another Motorsport Australia sanctioned event. And today he's 21 better so far. Blackjack. Mountain Panorama, what a beautiful venue, and a couple of good events coming up. I believe Trans Am just raced here a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. It's hard to keep track of the many different motor racing series we have in Australia, but 5 events are allowed here on the streets of Bathurst throughout the year. But thankfully, virtually, you can click race anytime you want during the year. Grab yourself iRacing, grab yourself a Moza Racing R3 bundle, get yourself a Next Level Racing sim rig. Plug it all in, have a go yourself. And we appreciate their partnership in today's event, the Moza Racing Victorian Esports Championship at MotorEx at the Showgrounds. It's been a beautiful weekend. If you've never been to MotorEx, if you've never even been to Melbourne, come on down, the sporting capital of Australia. And there's a whole lot to showcase, as well as the champion. Look at the skid marks, by the way. Scratch that, and Oscar King's off. Oscar King now 1.3, 1.4 seconds to Matt Bowler. His chances, I think, of a win are slowly slipping as Bowler will cross the line ahead of Oscar King, and it'll be 3 laps to go for Matt Bowler. He's 22-year-old, races for the Evolution Racing team. Representing himself, and that beautiful mustache. Fun fact, the only driver with a mustache in our grand final, I believe, although Ben Roberts has something working out of his upper lip. Something Ben Roberts probably doesn't want to hear right now as he hunts down Oscar King for second place. 7/10, 6/10 the gap between the two, so Ben Roberts is making amends for that earlier mistake. Damage, I did wonder if Ben Roberts... I was trying to say, I believe Ben Roberts may have damage from the contact with Callum Newton earlier on in the chase, but so far his pace is looking all right. Only 2.2 seconds away. He's actually reeling in Matt Bowler. But with 3 laps to go, has he done enough? Because he also has to dispose of this red BMW in front of him and then hunt down 2.5 seconds to Matt Bowler in first. Mistakes aplenty, and the difference of lines and the difference of, oh no, as Roberts, well, the difference of line there didn't work for Ben Roberts through the elbow because he's made contact again. He's been doing that all afternoon and he's been getting away with it. And I think he's gotten away with it once more. Ben Roberts recently coming off a podium at Road America. That's virtually. Road America is a very good racetrack. If you've ever had the luxury of visiting the US, it is as good as it gets. There was comparisons to it being the Spa-Francorchamps of the US. I would have to disagree, but anyway, it's not podcast time. The comparison, I was talking to somebody earlier about this track being the Nordschleife of the Southern Hemisphere. You know what? We'll take it. Bathurst will take anything. Maybe Bathurst is maybe Nordschleife is the Bathurst of the Northern Hemisphere. Maybe it should be the other way around. Laps to go. Ben Roberts now has clawed the gap. What is it now? 3/10 at the top left of your picture. Callum Newton, purple, quickest of everyone with the fastest lap. But last on the road. And if he does finish last, it's been a great event so far from Callum Newton, the 17-year-old, who the youngest here in the grand final. Has got some much needed experience under his belt, and off the road is Ben Roberts at Griffin's Bend. So easy with the camber on the racetrack there, which is laser scanned on iRacing. It's exactly how it is in the real world. Once you carry too much speed around the outside, you just get sailing and glued to the wall, and Ben Roberts somehow saved himself from more contact to that BMW M2. Oh, so close to the wall under the tree. How do they fare at the metal grade? Much better. But Oscar King, who's driven oh so well, oh so consistent too, to find his way into today's grand final. Elimination stages of the quarters. We eliminated another 4 this morning in the semis. And Oscar King, who was 10th quickest, a wild card entry, find himself taking home at least a 2nd or 3rd place trophy here at the Victorian State Championship. Second last trip through the chase, and Ben Roberts up the inside of Oscar King. Oscar's made a mockery of the chase, trying to allow plenty of room to Ben Roberts. He doesn't want a podium here to slip away, and Ben Roberts is as cautious as ever as well. After his moment here that cost him a chance at the win and a chance at the championship earlier on in the race, it's certainly lingering in the back of his mind. White flag is waved virtually by Barney. Yes, that is his name, is Barney, the iRacing flag man. And that is waved to Matt Bowler and the entirety of your field. So with Matt Bowler, 2.5 second advantage in the lead on the final lap, 2nd and 3rd place is yet to be decided. And Callum Newton, don't count him out at the back of this order. Ben Roberts, this didn't end well for him around the outside of Griffin's Bend last lap round, and rightly so. Forms up to the racing line, because I think 2 by 2 through there is a recipe for disaster. Through the cutting. Callum Newton, welcome back. And a chance to enter the podium. It's right here for Callum Newton. Oscar King has got his hands full here for the final trip around Mount Panorama this weekend. It's been a beautiful race here for the Moza Racing Victorian Esports Championship. Matt Bowler looks like he's got one hand on that state champion trophy. But how will the rest of our podium be decided? Through Skyline. Beautiful through the dipper from Oscar King. Callum Newton may just grab a 3rd place trophy here. Ben Roberts, this would be a massive set. There's no space at the elbow. The two collide, and Ben Roberts is turned around. Callum Newton is in third provisionally. Ben Roberts not happy with that move at the elbow. Newton had a chance to go for it on Conrad. But fair to say, the opportunity was there at the elbow. We'll let the stewards decide that. There's rig dresses in effect. But all eyes will be pinned on Matt Bowler in Sim 4. He's come a long way from Bundoora. That's a joke, only a 30-minute drive here to the showgrounds. But Matt Bowler for the Evolution Racing team will be crowned after this final corner. If he gets through here, he's done it. Fingers up, Matt Bowler is your state champion and wins himself a Moza Racing R3 bundle. Matt Bowler wins at Mount Panorama. Second place looked like it was Oscar King, and then Callum Newton in third provisionally. Ben Roberts came home in fourth. Let's have a quick chat to Matt Bowler, your winner of the state championship. You are state champion, Matt Bowler. How do those words sound?
Oh, pretty good. I didn't expect to break out a little bit of a lead, so it made it a bit more calming towards the end, but man, I'm hot. I wish there was an aircon in here.
You're stuttering a little bit. The heart rate is up there for sure. How do you feel right now?
Oh, I'm feeling great. It's awesome. It's a good bunch of guys here who are racing, and it's awesome to come out on top. And yeah, very clean racing, and everyone gave it their all. So good event being put on, and yeah, just really happy to take the crown.
Your sim racing journey, you've only been in sim racing for a few years. This is one to add to the resume. How does it feel when you can add this to the CV tonight when you get home?
Oh, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm very happy. So thanks to my dad, he told me to do it. So Dad can take some of the credit for that one. But yeah, massive thanks to everyone who put it on. And yeah, it feels great to win. So yeah, thank you.
And good news for you, not only do you get a first place trophy, you get yourself a Moza Racing R3 racing wheel and pedal set. That's got to feel good. One to add to the collection. Maybe a second sim for Dad.
Yeah, well, Dad does have a bit of a sim, so he might be getting a bit of an upgrade on the setup. So he'll be happy with that.
Finally, anyone to thank from your end as well? It's been a massive weekend for you. Did you expect to win today as well?
No, I didn't, to be honest. Yesterday my pace felt quite well, but today I didn't feel too confident at all. I think the setup's changed a little bit in terms of the equipment we're on, but no, I'm really happy to take the win. Massive thanks to my team, Evolution Racing team. I won't go through the sponsors because some of them are competitors to Moza, so I'll play it safe. But yeah, massive thank you to my family and.
We want to.
Yeah, massive thanks to all my friends and family, especially my boss as well. She's actually watching at home, so she's giving me a good time about it, telling me to win it. So yeah, I've won it for her and for the family. So yeah.
Maybe get out of work tomorrow, I would say, Matt Bowler, and celebrate the win. Mad Monday for Matt Bowler. Well done and congratulations. There's been a quick update on what's happened. So a penalty for Callum Newton. He's demoted to fourth. That means Ben Roberts will take the final step of the podium here. So unfortunately for Callum Newton, the young man, that move on the final lap, he was in fourth place anyway, really had nothing to lose, and it means he will be sent home with fourth place. Not a trophy. We'll do our trophy presentations first up. And in third place was Oscar King. Who is, am I handing out the trophies here? Should I do it? Let's do it. Oscar King, this is a pleasure. Let me get you the right trophy first up. So let's all congratulate for everybody over here who's watching today's Motorsport Australia Moza Racing Victorian State Championship. Third place trophy will go to Oscar King. Or second place, excuse me. Oh, Ben Roberts. Ben Roberts, excuse me, third place. Congratulations, Ben Roberts. So second place correction will go to Oscar King. Well done. And finally, a big round of applause to our winner. We just spoke to him, Matt Bowler, for first place. to our pictures taken. You may have not caught that in the live stream at home, but thanks for joining us, whether you've joined us on the Motorsport Australia YouTube page or even the SimSpeed YouTube page as well. It's been a brilliant weekend here at the Melbourne Showgrounds at MotorEx. It's been a pleasure to have your company as always. We hope you enjoyed the action. Matt Bowler is your Victorian State Champion. There's a lot of people to thank and a lot of partners and sponsors. First off, Moza Racing as well. Let's not forget them. They're sponsors of the event, the Moza Racing Victorian State Championship. Motorsport Australia for sanctioning the event. The Motorsport Australia crew has been helping out here at Esports World at MotorEx. And finally, we have to say a big thank you to SimSpeed, Jake Kennedy on production too. From Jonathan Simon, it's been a pleasure to have your company here once more. And we'll see you next time. We hope you enjoyed the Matt Bowler, your state champion for Victoria.